Lorraine Matthews stands in front of the hospital CFO's desk, gripping a discharge invoice that might as well be a death sentence. The number at the bottom has 6 zeros. 6. Her Aunt Rosa lies 3 floors up, tubes still connected, heart monitor beeping in rhythm with Lorraine's rising panic. The CFO, Choi Sung-woo, doesn't look up from his computer screen. His fingers tap the keyboard with surgical precision. Miss Matthews, we've extended the grace period twice. University protocols require settlement or a concrete payment plan before we can proceed with the cardiac specialist transfer. She opens her mouth. Nothing comes out. The invoice trembles in her hand. Behind her, the glass door to the finance wing reflects her image. Blazer wrinkled, ID badge hanging crooked, the coffee stain on her cuff from this morning when she ran to catch the subway. She looks exactly like what she is, a woman holding on by her fingernails. I understand the policy, Mr. Choi, but if we wait for insurance arbitration, it'll be another month. The cardiologist said, I'm aware of the medical recommendation. His voice is flat, bureaucratic. Unfortunately, the hospital cannot subsidize private specialist consultations without board approval. That process takes 4 to 6 weeks. Lorraine's vision blurs. 4 to 6 weeks. Rosa doesn't have 4 to 6 weeks. The last echocardiogram showed fluid accumulation, valve deterioration, time running backward. She thinks of Rosa's hands, the ones that braided her hair every morning after her parents died, the ones that signed permission slips and worked double shifts at the laundromat so Lorraine could finish college. Those hands shouldn't be this cold. There must be another option. Choi finally looks up. For a moment, something flickers across his face. Pity, maybe, or discomfort. Then it's gone. I'm sorry. My hands are tied. She turns to leave, defeat sitting heavy in her chest when the door opens behind her. Min-jun steps in, holding 2 paper cups of machine coffee. He's wearing the gray hoodie he always wears, the one with the frayed cuff. His hair is slightly damp from the rain outside. He looks at her first, then at the CFO, and something imperceptible shifts in the air. Lorraine, he says quietly. I've got this. She blinks. What? But he's already moving past her, setting 1 coffee cup on Choi's desk with a familiarity that makes her stomach clench. The CFO's expression changes instantly. He stands. Actually stands. Mr. Han, Choi says, and the honorific sounds wrong, too formal, too weighted. I didn't realize you were... Authorize the transfer, Min-jun says. Not a request. A statement. Dr. Kang from Asan Medical, private suite on the 7th floor. I'll handle the paperwork. Lorraine feels the floor tilt. Mr. Han? Her husband's name is Min-jun. Just Min-jun. He works in data analysis for a mid-sized tech firm. He takes the subway to work. He clips coupons for the grocery store. Of course, Choi says immediately, fingers already flying across the keyboard. I'll have the transfer approved within the hour. The surgical consult can be scheduled for tomorrow morning. Min-jun nods once, picks up both coffee cups and turns back to Lorraine. His face is calm, but she can see the tension in his jaw, the way his knuckles are white around the paper cup. He hands her the coffee. It's still warm. Let's go check on Rosa, he says. She follows him out in a daze. The hallway stretches endlessly, fluorescent lights humming overhead. Other people move around them. Nurses, patients, families with their own emergencies. But Lorraine can't focus on anything except the man walking beside her. The man she's been married to for 2 years. The man who just made a 6-figure medical bill disappear with 5 words. They reach the elevator. The doors close. She finally finds her voice. Who are you? He doesn't answer. Doesn't look at her. Just stares at the ascending floor numbers. Jaw tight. That careful blank expression he wears when he's hiding something. The elevator dings. 7th floor. Private suites. The kind with actual windows and chairs that don't destroy your spine. A nurse passes them, glances at Min-jun, and bows slightly. Actually bows. Lorraine's coffee cup crumples in her hand. Warm liquid spills over her fingers, soaking into the cuff that was already stained. She doesn't notice. She's too busy watching her husband walk down a hospital corridor like he owns it. Because maybe he does. Would you keep a secret this big from the person you love most? If you're already hooked, subscribe so you don't miss what happens when the truth can't hide anymore. We need your support to keep writing stories that grab you by the throat and don't let go. The machine coffee at Seoul University Hospital tastes like burnt regret, but it's cheap and it's there, which makes it perfect for people like Lorraine. She's been drinking it for 6 days straight, ever since Rosa collapsed in the kitchen while making japchae for Sunday dinner. 6 days of fluorescent lights and antiseptic smell and doctors speaking in careful, measured tones about cardiac function and intervention options. Min-jun brings her a fresh cup every evening after work, still wearing his company lanyard, smelling faintly of the jasmine tea he drinks at his desk. He sits beside her in the waiting room's plastic chairs and doesn't try to fill the silence. She appreciates that about him. Always has. He knows when words are just noise. "You should go home," she says, not for the first time. "Get some rest." "So should you." "I can't." "I know." He reaches over, takes her free hand. His palm is warm, calloused at the base of his fingers from the way he holds his pen. It's a small detail, the kind you only notice after 2 years of marriage. 2 years of quiet mornings and shared subway commutes and arguments about whether to keep the bedroom window open at night. Normal things. Human things. Lorraine leans her head on his shoulder. The waiting room TV flickers in the corner. Some drama about corporate espionage and forbidden love. She stopped paying attention an hour ago. Real life has enough drama. "The cardiologist wants to do another echocardiogram tomorrow," she says. "And they're talking about a specialist consult, but insurance won't cover it. I've been trying to negotiate with the billing department, but..." Her voice cracks. She swallows it down. "I don't know what to do." Min-jun is quiet for a long moment. When he speaks, his voice is careful. "How much?" she tells him. Watches his expression stay perfectly neutral, which is somehow worse than shock would be. He's too calm, too controlled, like he's heard numbers like this before. "I can help," he says. "Min-jun, that's... no. Absolutely not. I'm not taking that kind of money from you. We're married. Which means your problems are my problems, not the other way around. This is my family, my responsibility. Rosa raised you. That makes her my family too." Lorraine pulls back, looks at him properly. His face is kind, open, the same face that smiled at her across a coffee shop 2.5 years ago when she spilled chai all over his laptop. The same face that asked her to marry him 6 months later in a park by the river. No ring yet because he was saving up. Just a promise and hope. And enough sincerity to make her say yes without hesitation. He's a good man. The best man. But he's not rich. "We can't afford this," she says gently. "Let me worry about that. Min-jun, please." He squeezes her hand. "Let me do this. For you. For her." She wants to argue. Wants to explain that she's been on her own since she was 17. That accepting help feels like swallowing broken glass. That she's terrified of owing anyone anything after what happened with Marcus. After her name got blacklisted and her credit destroyed and her dignity shredded. But she's also exhausted. And scared. And Rosa's heart is failing. So she nods. Just once. And Min-jun kisses her forehead and goes to find the billing office. And Lorraine sits alone in the waiting room wondering why her husband walked toward the administrative wing like he already knew exactly where it was. The invoice arrives on her desk 3 days later, delivered by internal mail in a plain manila envelope. Lorraine recognizes the hospital seal immediately. Her hands shake as she opens it. The balance is 0. She reads it twice, 3 times. Checks the patient ID number, the date range, the itemized charges. Everything is correct. The specialist consult, the private room transfer, the cardiac imaging, all logged, all processed. but the total due is marked as settled in full. There's a secondary notation at the bottom. Payment, authorized by M. Han, Director of Philanthropic Partnerships. Lorraine's office suddenly feels too small. She works in hospital finance. She knows every department, every director, every authorization pathway. There is no Director of Philanthropic Partnerships. That position doesn't exist. She picks up the phone, dials the CFO's extension. Choi answers on the second ring. Miss Matthews, how can I help you? I received the discharge invoice for Rosa Matthews. It shows the balance as settled. There must be an error. A pause. Too long. No error. The payment was processed through our corporate donor fund. What corporate donor fund? I'm not at liberty to discuss the specifics. Patient financial records are confidential. She's my aunt. I'm listed as the primary guarantor. Yes, well. Choi clears his throat. The donor specifically requested anonymity. I can only confirm that all charges have been covered and there's no outstanding balance. Who is Emir Han? Another pause. Longer this time. I really can't. Mr. Choi, I work in this hospital. I process financial disclosures daily. If there's a donor relationship that affects patient care allocation, I have a right to know. She can hear him breathing on the other end. Hears the click of a door closing, footsteps, the rustle of papers. Look, he says finally, voice lower. You didn't hear this from me. Emmy Han is connected to one of our largest institutional backers. The family prefers to keep their contributions private. They've funded several emergency interventions this year. Your aunt's case qualified under the hardship criteria. Which family? I can't tell you that. Try. Miss Matthews, I'm risking my position even discussing this. The Han Group has very specific privacy requirements. If you have questions about the funding, I suggest you direct them to your husband. The line goes dead. Lorraine sits frozen, phone still pressed to her ear, brain struggling to process what she just heard. Your husband, Minjun M. Han. The pieces are there, scattered across her desk like shrapnel, but they won't fit together into anything that makes sense. Her husband works in data analysis. He takes the subway. He uses coupons. He made a 6-figure medical bill disappear. She pulls up her laptop, opens the hospital's internal database, types Han Group. The search returns 47 results. Donations, research grants, facility upgrades. Millions of dollars, flowing in from a corporate entity she's never heard of, funding everything from pediatric oncology wings to AI diagnostic systems. The grants are all marked as restricted, anonymized, processed through shell accounts and legal intermediaries. She scrolls down, finds a board meeting memo from 2 years ago discussing the installation of a new MRI machine, funded by a private benefactor with ties to the biomed sector. The approval signature at the bottom is illegible, but the typed name underneath is clear. Han Min-jun, advisory consultant. Her husband's name. Lorraine's phone buzzes. A text from Min-jun. Leaving work early. Want to grab dinner before visiting Rosa? She stares at the message, at the name on her screen, at the man she thought she knew. Who the hell did she marry? The 7th floor of Seoul University Hospital isn't supposed to exist, at least not for people like Lorraine. This is where the chaebols come when they need privacy, where politicians recover from exhaustion, where CEOs get discreet treatments for problems money can buy silence for. The furniture is real wood. The windows are floor to ceiling. The nurses speak in hushed, deferential tones. Rosa's new room overlooks the city. She's sitting up in bed, color back in her cheeks, laughing at something the specialist is saying. Doctor, Kang is one of the best cardiac surgeons in the country. Lorraine knows this because she's seen his consultation fees. 3 years of her salary wouldn't cover a single appointment. There she is, Rosa says, brightening as Lorraine enters. Dr. Kang was just telling me about the new valve procedure. Can you believe it? Minimally invasive robotic assistance. Science fiction. Dr. Kang smiles, bows slightly to Lorraine. Your aunt is an ideal candidate. We'll schedule the surgery for next week, pending final imaging results. Recovery should be straightforward. Thank you, Lorraine manages. Her voice sounds distant, mechanical. Can I ask, how did this get approved so quickly? The insurance review was supposed to take— Oh, insurance isn't involved, Dr. Kang says cheerfully. This is a direct hospital program. We have a partnership with several corporate sponsors who fund high-need cases. Your aunt was flagged as a priority. Flagged by who? His smile doesn't waver. I'm not privy to those details, I'm afraid. I just do the surgery. He checks his watch. I should go. Mrs. Matthews, I'll see you next week. He leaves. Rosa pats the bed beside her, and Lorraine sits, trying to keep her expression neutral. Her aunt looks better than she has in weeks. Skin warm, eyes bright, that spark of humor back. It's a miracle. A miracle bought and paid for by someone Lorraine is increasingly certain is her husband. This place is fancy, Rosa says, gesturing around the room. I told them there must be some mistake, that I can't afford this. But the nurse just smiled and said everything was taken care of. God is good, Lori. This is a blessing. Yeah, Lorraine says quietly. A blessing. You seem upset. Is something wrong? No, just tired. Rosa takes her hand. Her grip is stronger now, less fragile. You've been working yourself to death for me. It's time to let others help. Pride is expensive, baby. I should know. Lorraine thinks about Marcus, about the credit card she maxed out trying to save his failing business, about the loans she co-signed that destroyed her financial future when he disappeared, about the years it took to rebuild, to learn that independence wasn't just a virtue but a survival mechanism. She spent so long guarding herself against obligation, against the trap of owing someone else, that the idea of accepting help, even from Min-jun, feels like stepping into quicksand. But Rosa is alive. That's what matters. I'll try, she says. Rosa kisses her forehead. Good girl. Now go home. Your husband has been texting me worried messages all day. That boy loves you something fierce. Lorraine leaves the hospital as the sun sets, painting Seoul in shades of amber and shadow. She takes the subway home. The same route she's taken for 2 years. The same car. The same seat by the window. Everything looks exactly the same. But something fundamental has shifted, like an earthquake happening too slowly to feel until the ground has already cracked beneath your feet. Min-jun is in the kitchen when she arrives, making dinner. The apartment smells like garlic and sesame oil. He's still wearing his work clothes, shirt sleeves rolled up, that careful concentration on his face that appears when he's cooking. Domestic. Normal. Safe. Hey, he says, smiling. How's Rosa? Better. The doctor says she's a candidate for the new procedure. That's great news. Min-jun. She sets her bag down. We need to talk. His smile fades. He turns off the stove, wipes his hands on a towel, and faces her fully. The kitchen light casts shadows under his eyes. He looks tired. Older than 36. Okay, he says. Who is M. Han? He goes very still. What? M. Han, Director of Philanthropic Partnerships. The person who paid Rosa's medical bills. The person whose name is on hospital donation records going back 3 years. The person who got her transferred to the 7th floor and brought in Dr. Kang. She steps closer. Is that you? Min-jun exhales slowly, runs a hand through his hair. When he speaks, his voice is measured, careful. It's complicated. Uncomplicate it. I have some investments in the medical technology sector. Through those investments, I have advisory relationships with certain hospitals, including Seoul University. When I learned about Rosa's situation, I used those connections to help. Advisory relationships. Lorraine laughs, but there's no humor in it. Min-jun, that's not advisory work. That's donor-level access. That's the kind of money that buys wings of buildings. It's not like that. Then what is it like? He looks at her for a long moment, She sees something flicker in his eyes. Fear, maybe, or shame. He opens his mouth, closes it, tries again. "I used to work for a family business," he says finally. "Before I met you. The company is involved in biomedical equipment and hospital infrastructure. I left that world, but I still have connections, resources. I don't use them often, but when Rosa collapsed, I made some calls." "What family business?" "It doesn't matter. I'm not part of it anymore." "Minjun, please." His voice cracks. "Can we not do this right now? Rosa is safe. The surgery is scheduled. That's what matters. The rest is just noise." She wants to push, wants to grab him by the shoulders and shake the truth out. But he looks so tired, so fragile. And she's exhausted too. So she nods, even though every instinct is screaming that this isn't over, that the noise he's dismissing is actually a siren. "Okay," she says. For now. They eat dinner in silence. The food is perfect, as always, but it tastes like ash. Lorraine can't stop thinking about the name. Monsieur Han. It echoes in her head during her morning commute, during budget meetings, during lunch at her desk. She tries to focus on her work, processing invoices, auditing departmental expenses, the usual grind. But her mind keeps circling back to that signature on the discharge papers, the way the CFO's voice changed when he said it, the reverence that didn't make sense. She's married to Min Jun, not M. Han. Those are two different people, except they're not. On her lunch break, she walks to the hospital library. It's mostly empty this time of day. A few medical students studying for exams, a resident asleep in the corner. Lorraine finds a computer terminal in the back and pulls up the public records database. Types, Han Group, South Korea. The results are overwhelming. Han Corporation, Han Industries, Han Medical Technologies, Han Biomedical Group. A sprawling conglomerate with fingers in everything from pharmaceuticals to artificial intelligence. Revenue in the billions. Facilities on 3 continents. The kind of corporate empire that makes governments nervous. She narrows the search. Han Min Jun, CEO. 3 results. The first is a press release from 4 years ago, announcing the appointment of Han Min Jun as Chief Operations Officer of Han Biomedical Group, subsidiary of the larger Han conglomerate. The photo shows a man in an expensive suit, standing beside an older woman with sharp eyes and sharper cheekbones. The caption identifies her as Han Hyejin, Director of Corporate Affairs. The second result is a shareholder report from 3 years ago, listing Han Min Jun as a primary stakeholder with a 23% equity position. The third is a news article from 2.5 years ago. Han heir steps down amid family dispute. Future of biomedical division uncertain. Lorraine reads the article twice, then a third time. It's vague, carefully worded, the kind of corporate journalism that says everything and nothing. Min Jun, her Min Jun, resigned abruptly after strategic disagreements with the family leadership. The company declined to comment. Han Min Jun could not be reached. Could not be reached because he was sitting in a coffee shop in Hongdae, spilling apologies for her ruined laptop, offering to buy her a replacement chai, asking her name with that soft, careful smile. She closes the browser, sits in the library's fluorescent silence, trying to breathe through the panic clawing up her throat. Her husband was, the COO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. He owns 23% of a company that supplies half the medical technology in South Korea. He didn't have some investments. He is the investment. And he lied to her. No, not lied. Omitted. Carefully, deliberately omitted every detail that mattered. Her phone buzzes. A text from Daiho, Min Jun's friend from university. "Hey, are you free this afternoon? Need to talk about something. Coffee?" Lorraine stares at the message. She barely knows Daiho. He's been to dinner a few times, always polite, always deferring to Min Jun in that way old friends do. But right now, he might be the only person who can give her answers. She texts back. 3 p.m., cafe near the hospital. See you there. Dae-ho arrives 10 minutes early, which means he's nervous. Lorraine watches him through the cafe window as he orders, pays, checks his phone 3 times in rapid succession. He's wearing a leather jacket that's seen better days and carrying a messenger bag covered in tech company stickers. He looks exactly like what Min-jun always said he was, a mid-level engineer trying to make it in Seoul's brutal startup ecosystem. Except, Dae-ho spots her, waves, comes over, sets his coffee down carefully, like he's buying time. "Thanks for meeting me," he says. "Of course. What's going on?" He fidgets with his cup. "How much do you know?" "About what?" "About Min-jun. About who he was before." Lorraine's stomach drops. "You tell me." Dae-ho sighs, looks out the window at the street beyond, the endless flow of people and traffic and noise. "He made me promise not to say anything. Said he wanted a clean break, a normal life. But after the hospital thing..." He stops. Starts again. "You deserve to know." "Know what?" Min-jun isn't just connected to the Han family. He is the Han family. Second son of Chairman Han Jae-sung, heir to one of the largest biomedical conglomerates in Asia. He was groomed from birth to take over the company. Harvard Business School, executive training, the whole package. The cafe sounds fade into white noise. Lorraine can see Dae-ho's mouth moving, but can't process the words. Chaebol, heir, conglomerate. These are words from dramas, from news reports about people who exist in a different stratosphere. Not words that should apply to the man who does their dishes every night. Then why did he leave? Dae-ho shrugs. Family pressure. His father wanted him to marry the daughter of another Chaebol family. Arranged marriage, corporate alliance, the usual bullshit. Min-jun refused, said he wouldn't be a chess piece. So he resigned, signed away most of his active control, and disappeared. Changed his life completely. He still owns 23% of the company. Passive shares. He can't vote, can't sit on the board. It's basically a trust fund he won't touch. He's been living off his engineering salary for 2 years, pretending the rest doesn't exist. Why didn't he tell me? Dae-ho meets her eyes. Because he was afraid you'd leave, that you'd think he was lying, or using you, or that the money would ruin what you had. He wanted someone to love him for who he is, not what he's worth. Lorraine thinks about their wedding, a simple ceremony at the district office, followed by dinner with Rosa and a few friends. Min-jun wore a suit from a department store. She carried wildflowers from the market. It was perfect. It was real. It was built on a lie. "I need to go," she says, standing abruptly. "Lorraine, wait." But she's already out the door, walking fast, not sure where she's going but needing to move, to burn off the rage and betrayal roiling in her chest. She ends up at the river, the same park where Min-jun proposed. The water is gray under the overcast sky, choppy with wind. She sits on the bench where they sat that day, when she said yes without hesitation, because she trusted him completely. Her phone rings. Min-jun. She declines the call. It rings again. She turns it off. A woman sits down on the bench beside her. Expensive coat, perfect posture, hair that probably cost more than Lorraine's monthly salary. She's maybe 40, with the kind of face that's been sculpted by good genes and better skincare. She doesn't look at Lorraine, just stares at the river. "You must be Min-jun's wife," the woman says. Lorraine goes rigid. "Who are you?" "Han Hye-jin, his sister." Hye-jin doesn't wait for an invitation. She simply sits, perfectly composed, as if benches by the river are her natural habitat. She probably has people to sit on benches for her. Lorraine thinks bitterly. The older woman's eyes are sharp, assessing, the same eyes from the press release photo, the same calculating gaze that built empires. "He told you," Hye-jin says. "Not a question." "Not exactly. I figured it out." "Good. You're smarter than I thought." She crosses her legs, elegant even on a park bench. I assume you're angry. That's an understatement. He meant well. My brother has always been idealistic to the point of stupidity. He actually believed he could erase his past by ignoring it. Hyejin's smile is cold. Money doesn't work that way. Neither does blood. What do you want? To protect my family. The Han name means something in this country. It opens doors, commands respect, carries weight. Min-jun threw that away for a fantasy of normalcy. I let him have his little experiment because I thought he'd come back when he got bored. She finally looks at Lorraine. Then he married you. The way she says "you" makes it sound like an accusation. Lorraine straightens her spine, meets that cutting gaze head on. He didn't marry me for my connections, if that's what you're implying. No. He married you because you didn't know who he was. That's worse. Hyejin pulls out her phone, taps the screen a few times, then hands it to Lorraine. This was taken yesterday outside the hospital. It'll be on gossip sites by tonight. The photo shows Lorraine and Min-jun in the hospital corridor. He's holding her hand, leaning close, saying something she can't remember. The photographer caught them in a moment of obvious intimacy, her expression vulnerable, his protective. The caption reads, "Mystery woman with Han air. Estranged Chibol spotted at University Hospital." Lorraine's hands start to shake. How did they? Someone at the hospital recognized him, probably sold the tip to a tabloid. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the secret is out. By tomorrow morning, every news outlet in Seoul will be running this story. Han Min-jun surfaces after 2 years. Secret marriage confirmed. Hyejin takes her phone back. You're about to become very famous, Mrs. Han. I never wanted that. Neither did he. But consequences don't care about intent. She stands, smooths her coat. You have 2 choices. 1. Leave him. Take a generous settlement. I'm authorized to offer 10 billion won and disappear quietly. We'll handle the media narrative. 2. Stay and accept that your life as you know it is over. The press will dissect everything. Your past, your family, every mistake you've ever made. They'll call you a gold digger, a social climber, a woman who trapped a chaebol. You'll be photographed constantly, judged endlessly. And through it all, you'll have to smile and play the role of the perfect daughter-in-law. Lorraine stands too, anger finally overtaking shock. You don't get to bribe me or threaten me. I love your brother. That doesn't come with a price tag. Everything has a price tag, Miss Matthews. Even love. Hyejin's expression softens fractionally. He chose a hard life by leaving the family. You can make it easier or impossible. But don't pretend money doesn't matter. That hospital bill proved otherwise. She walks away before Lorraine can respond, heels clicking on the pavement, leaving only expensive perfume and the acrid taste of truth behind. Lorraine sinks back onto the bench, pulls out her phone, turns it on. 17 missed calls from Min-jun, 32 text messages, 3 voicemails. She doesn't listen to them. Instead, she opens her browser and searches her own name. 3 results already. By morning, there will be hundreds. Min-jun is waiting on the apartment steps when she gets home. He stands as soon as he sees her, face pale, eyes red-rimmed. He looks like he hasn't slept. Probably hasn't. Lorraine, your sister found me. He flinches. What did she say? That I should take the money and run. She unlocks the door, steps inside. He follows, closing it quietly behind them. The apartment feels smaller than usual, suffocating. She showed me the photo. I'm so sorry. I never wanted this to touch you. Too late. She drops her bag on the couch, turns to face him. A chaebol, Min-jun. You're a chaebol. Do you have any idea how insane that sounds? I've been married to you for 2 years, and I didn't know you were one of the richest men in Korea. I gave it up. The board position, the control, most of the access. I'm not that person anymore. But you were, and you lied to me about it. I didn't lie. I just didn't tell me? That's the same thing. Her voice cracks. You let me think you were someone else. You let me worry about money, about bills, about Rosa's medical costs, when you could have fixed everything with a phone call. Do you know how humiliating that is? I wanted to be normal. Is that so wrong? Normal people don't hide billion-1 inheritances. Normal people don't have sisters who offer bribes. Normal people... She stops, breathless. Normal people trust each other. The silence that follows is deafening. Min-jun sinks onto the couch, head in his hands. When he speaks, his voice is barely a whisper. When I was 23, my father told me I was engaged. Not asked, told. The bride had been chosen. Wedding date set. Everything arranged without my consent. I said no. He said my opinion wasn't relevant, that I existed to serve the family, to build the empire, to be a good son and a smart investment. He looks up at her. I ran away that night. Stayed with Daiho for 6 months. Eventually I came back, but only on my terms. I'd work for the company, but I wouldn't be owned by it. For years I played the part, wore the suits, attended the meetings, smiled for the cameras. Then, 3 years ago, they tried again. Different bride, same deal. And I realized I'd never be free unless I left completely. So you did. I resigned, signed legal documents relinquishing active control, changed my life entirely, started over as just me. Not Han Min-jun the heir. Just Min-jun who likes data analysis and machine coffee and taking the subway. He stands, steps toward her carefully. Then I met you. And for the first time in my life, someone looked at me and didn't see money. Just saw a guy who spilled coffee and apologized too much. It was the most real thing I'd ever experienced. Tears sting Lorraine's eyes. You still should have told me. I know. I was going to. 100 times I almost did. But every time, I'd think about how everything would change, how you'd look at me differently. And I was selfish enough to want to keep what we had just a little longer. He reaches for her hand. She doesn't pull away. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. She wants to stay angry, wants to nurse the betrayal like a wound. But she also remembers the way he held her when Rosa collapsed, the way he brings her coffee without asking, the way he looks at her in the morning, like she's the only thing that matters. Love isn't simple. It's messy and complicated, and built on 1,000 small moments that can't be erased by one big lie. I need time, she says finally, to process this, to figure out what it means. Take all the time you need. He squeezes her hand. I'm not going anywhere. That night, they sleep in the same bed, but don't touch. Lorraine lies awake, listening to his breathing, thinking about the boy who ran away from an empire and the man who loved her with a freedom he'd never known, thinking about the sister who offered money like a solution and the aunt whose life was saved by a secret. By morning, the photo is everywhere. The hospital is chaos. Lorraine arrives to find reporters camped outside the main entrance, cameras ready, questions loaded. She keeps her head down, badge ready, pushing through the crowd with practiced efficiency. Someone shouts her name. She doesn't turn. Inside, her co-workers stare. Some with curiosity, some with envy. One, her cubicle neighbor, Kyungrae, with open hostility. Must be nice, he mutters as she passes. Marry rich and all your problems disappear. She ignores him. Sits at her desk, logs into her computer, tries to focus on the expense reports waiting for review. Her phone buzzes constantly. Messages from numbers she doesn't recognize, friend requests from strangers, emails offering exclusive interviews. She silences everything. At lunch, she visits Rosa. The 7th floor is, mercifully, press-free. Private security at the elevators, NDAs signed by staff. Money buying the one thing Lorraine desperately needs: privacy. Rosa is sitting up, reading a magazine, looking stronger every day. She smiles when Lorraine enters, then sees her face and immediately sets the magazine aside. What happened? People found out about Min Jun. Lorraine sits heavily in the visitor's chair. About who he really is. And who is that? A chaebol. His family owns Han Biomedical Group. Billions of won. He left all of it to be with me. Or to get away from them. I'm not sure which. She laughs bitterly. I married a man I don't even know. Rosa is quiet for a long moment. Then she reaches for her bedside drawer, pulls out a small wooden box, opens it carefully. Inside are letters, yellowed with age, edges soft from handling. Your father wrote these, Rosa says, after your mother died, after you came to live with me. He wanted to explain why he couldn't take care of you, why the bottle was easier than being a parent. He wrote one every month for 3 years. She hands the box to Lorraine. He never sent them. Said he didn't deserve forgiveness, but he loved you, baby, even when he couldn't show it. Lorraine opens the first letter with shaking hands. Her father's handwriting, cramped and uneven. Dear Lori, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm not strong enough. I'm sorry you deserve better. I'm sorry I can't be the father you need. But I love you, even if I'm too broken to prove it. I love you. The letter blurs. She wipes her eyes, opens another. The same message, different words. Apology and love, tangled together like grief. Why are you showing me these? Because sometimes, Rosa says gently, people hide parts of themselves not to hurt us, but because they're ashamed. Your father was ashamed of his weakness. Min Jun is probably ashamed of his wealth. Different problems, same fear. They both thought you'd be better off without the truth. Were they right? I don't know. But I know you loved your father despite his flaws. Maybe Min Jun deserves the same grace. Lorraine closes the box carefully. Thinks about shame and secrets and the weight of truth. About the man who brings her coffee and the heir who ran away. They're the same person. She married both, whether she knew it or not. I'll think about it, she says. Rosa pats her hand. That's all I ask. On her way out, Lorraine runs into Daeho in the corridor. He's carrying a tablet, looking harried. Hey, he says. How are you holding up? I've been better. For what it's worth, he really does love you. More than I've ever seen him love anything, including the company. Daeho hesitates. Actually, there's something you should know. The initial payment for Rosa's transfer. That was me. I authorized it through one of the corporate donor accounts Min Jun doesn't monitor. I thought I was helping, but he shrugs helplessly. I might have made everything worse. You were trying to save her life. So was he. We just did it badly. Daeho's phone buzzes. He glances at it, expression darkening. There's a board meeting tomorrow. The family is pressuring Min Jun to come back, to use the publicity to rejoin the company. His sister thinks the marriage story is good PR. Makes him look human, grounded. He's not going back. Are you sure? Because the Han family doesn't take no for an answer. And right now, they see an opportunity. Lorraine thinks about Hyejin's cold efficiency, about the way power operates in this world. Pressure and leverage, every weakness exploited. Let them try, she says. The contract arrives by courier the next morning. 23 pages of legal language, printed on expensive paper, sealed with the Han corporate logo. Lorraine reads it in her office with the door locked, feeling sicker with every clause. The summary. In exchange for her silence regarding Min Jun's identity and their marriage, she will receive ongoing financial support, guaranteed medical coverage for Rosa, and a lump sum payment of 15 billion won. In return, she agrees not to speak publicly about the Han family, not to contest any future legal proceedings, and to grant Min Jun an uncontested divorce if requested. It's a gag order dressed up as generosity. Hyejin's signature sits at the bottom, elegant and final. Lorraine shreds it. She shreds it slowly, methodically, feeding each page through the office shredder until nothing remains but confetti. Then she grabs her coat and heads to the address listed on the contract's letterhead. Han Group Headquarters, downtown Seoul, glass tower that scrapes the sky. Security tries to stop her at the lobby. She shows them the shredded remains. Tell Han Hae-jin that Lorraine Matthews is here, and tell her I'm not leaving until we talk. 20 minutes later, she's in an executive conference room with panoramic views and furniture that costs more than her annual salary. Hee-jin enters, expression unreadable. "That was dramatic," she says. "You tried to buy me off. I tried to protect you. There's a difference. I don't need your protection. I need you to leave my marriage alone." Hee-jin sits, gestures for Lorraine to do the same. "You think this is about controlling you? It's not. It's about controlling the narrative. That photo made you public property. Right now, the press is sympathetic. Star-crossed lovers, secret marriage, very romantic. But that will change. They'll dig into your past. The credit card debt, the co-signed loans, the ex-boyfriend who destroyed your financial history. They'll paint you as a woman who found a meal ticket and held on tight." Lorraine's stomach twists. "How do you know about Marcus?" "I know everything. That's my job. And if I know, the press will too. Unless we give them a better story." "What story?" "That you're a hospital financial manager who worked her way up from nothing. That you and Min-jun fell in love organically. That his family welcomes you with open arms. We control the message. We control the damage." Hee-jin leans forward. "Let me help you." "Why? What do you get out of this?" "My brother back. Not in the company. I've accepted he's done with that. But back in the family, this distance he's created isn't healthy. He's still a Han. That means something, whether he likes it or not." Lorraine studies the woman across from her, sees the genuine concern beneath the corporate polish. Hee-jin isn't a villain. She's a sister trying to protect her brother the only way she knows how, with power and money and control. "No contract," Lorraine says finally. "No non-disclosure agreements, no silence clauses. If you want to help with the press, fine. But I don't work for you, and my marriage isn't a business transaction." Hee-jin considers this, then nods. "Fair enough. I'll have our PR team reach out. They'll coordinate statements, handle media requests. You retain full autonomy. Deal?" "Deal." They shake hands. The grip is firm, mutual respect acknowledged if not earned. As Lorraine leaves, Hae-jin calls after her. "He's lucky to have you. I hope you know that." "I'm starting to," Lorraine says. The press conference is Min-jun's idea. He calls Lorraine that evening, voice steady but nervous. "I want to tell the truth," he says. "All of it. Public statement, no spin, no corporate PR. Just me, explaining why I left and why I came back, because of you. That's going to cause problems. I don't care. I'm done hiding." They hold the conference 3 days later in the hospital's main auditorium. Not a corporate venue, deliberately. This is about humanity, not business. About medicine and love and the things money can't buy. The room is packed. Reporters, cameras, hospital staff watching from the edges. Lorraine sits in the front row beside Rosa, who insisted on attending despite doctor's orders. Min-jun stands at the podium, wearing the same gray hoodie from the first day, a quiet rebellion against expectations. "My name is Han Min-jun," he begins. 3 years ago, I was the COO of Han Biomedical Group. I left that position because I refused to let my family dictate my personal life. I wanted freedom, to choose who I loved, how I lived, what mattered. I thought I could erase my past by ignoring it. I was wrong. He looks directly at Lorraine. 2 years ago, I met a woman in a coffee shop. She yelled at me for ruining her laptop, then laughed when I spilled a replacement drink all over myself. She didn't care about my name or my family. She just saw me. We fell in love. We got married. And I never told her who I really was because I was terrified she'd leave. That fear was selfish and unfair. She deserved the truth. A reporter shouts a question. Minjun ignores it, continues. When her aunt fell ill and faced impossible medical costs, I used my connections to help. Not because I wanted to control her, but because I couldn't stand watching someone I love suffer when I had the resources to fix it. I'm not ashamed of that. But I am ashamed that I hid it. That I let her believe she was alone when she wasn't. He takes a breath. I'm here today to say that I'm done running. I'm Han Minjun, son of Chairman Han Jae-sung, former COO of a company I helped build. But I'm also just Minjun, who takes the subway and drinks machine coffee and married the woman he loves. Both of those people are real. I'm done pretending otherwise. The room erupts. Questions fly from every direction. Minjun answers them calmly, honestly. Yes, he still owns shares in the company. No, he's not returning to an active role. Yes, he understands this will affect public perception. No, he doesn't regret his choices. Lorraine watches him, this man she married, and feels something shift in her chest. He's not perfect. He lied, or at least omitted truth until it became a lie. But he's also standing in front of dozens of cameras, voluntarily exposing the vulnerabilities he spent years hiding, because honesty matters more than safety. After the conference, they're mobbed by reporters. Security intervenes, creates a path to the exit. Minjun takes Lorraine's hand, laces their fingers together. She squeezes back. That was brave, she says once they're alone in the parking garage. That was terrifying. He laughs shakily. I think I'm going to throw up. Don't. You did good. Did I? I just painted a target on both of us. We'll survive. She stops walking, turns to face him. I'm still angry. I'm still processing. But I also understand why you did it. And I appreciate you telling the truth now, even when it's hard. Does this mean, are we okay? We're getting there. She kisses him gently. It's going to take time, but we'll figure it out. That night they go home together, sleep in the same bed, this time curled around each other. It's not forgiveness, not yet, but it's a start. The fallout is swift and predictable. Half the internet calls Minjun a hero for rejecting his family's control. The other half calls Lorraine a gold digger who manipulated a vulnerable man. Op-eds debate wealth in marriage and the ethics of secret identities. The hospital receives threats, then donations, then more threats. Through it all, Lorraine goes to work every day, does her job, and ignores the noise. Rose's surgery is scheduled for a Friday morning. Lorraine takes the day off, sits in the surgical waiting room with Minjun. He brings her machine coffee. She almost laughs. Some things never change, she says. I hope not. He hands her the cup. I liked who we were before everything exploded. I want that back. We can't go back, only forward. Then forward with coffee. The surgery takes 4 hours. Dr. Kang emerges looking exhausted but satisfied. Everything went perfectly. She'll need recovery time, but the prognosis is excellent. Lorraine cries. Minjun holds her, and for the first time in weeks, the tightness in her chest eases. Rosa will be okay. That's what matters. Everything else is noise. They're allowed to visit once Rosa is awake. She's groggy, hooked to monitors, but her smile is genuine. Did I survive? She asks. You survived, Lorraine confirms. Good. I have a wedding anniversary to attend. Rosa looks at Minjun. You take care of my girl. I don't care how much money you have. You hurt her, I hurt you. Yes, ma'am, Minjun says seriously. Over the next 2 weeks, Rosa's recovery progresses steadily. The minimally invasive procedure means less pain, faster healing. Lorraine visits every evening after work, watches her aunt grow stronger with each passing day. The bruising fades, the energy returns. By the 3rd week, Rosa is complaining about hospital food and demanding to go home. both excellent signs, according to Dr. Kang. On a Thursday evening, Lorraine arrives to find Hyejin sitting in Rosa's room, holding a bouquet of white chrysanthemums. The two women are laughing about something. It's so unexpected that Lorraine stops in the doorway, unsure whether she's entered the wrong room. "There she is," Rosa says warmly. "Come in, baby." Hyejin brought flowers. Hyejin stands, offers a small bow. "I hope I'm not intruding. I wanted to check on Mrs. Matthews' recovery." "It's fine," Lorraine says carefully. She sets her bag down, kisses Rosa's forehead. "How are you feeling?" "Better every day. Your sister-in-law has been telling me stories about Min-jun as a child. Apparently, he was quite the troublemaker. He hid frogs in the boardroom during a shareholder meeting," Hyejin says, the faintest smile touching her lips. "Our father was furious. Min-jun was 7 and completely unrepentant." Despite herself, Lorraine smiles. "That sounds like him." An awkward silence follows. Hyejin glances at her watch, gathers her coat. "I should go. Mrs. Matthews, it was lovely to meet you properly. Lorraine..." She hesitates. "Could we talk? Just for a moment?" They step into the hallway. The evening shift is starting, nurses moving with practiced efficiency, the hospital settling into its nighttime rhythm. Hyejin faces her directly, expression open in a way Lorraine hasn't seen before. "I owe you an apology," Hyejin says. "I approached this entire situation wrong. I treated you like a problem to be managed instead of a person my brother loves. That was arrogant and disrespectful. Why the change of heart? Min-jun came to see me last week. We had a conversation, the first real one in years. He told me that you're the reason he's not afraid anymore, that you gave him permission to be both versions of himself without shame." Hyejin's voice softens. "I've spent my whole life trying to protect him from the weight of our name. I didn't realize he needed someone to help him carry it instead." Lorraine thinks about the press conference, about Min-jun standing under those bright lights, choosing honesty over safety, about the courage that took. "He's stronger than you think," Lorraine says. "I'm starting to see that. And I think you're the reason why." Hyejin extends her hand. "Can we start over? Properly this time?" Lorraine shakes it. The gesture feels significant, a bridge being built where before there was only a chasm. "I'd like that," she says. Hyejin leaves, and Lorraine returns to Rosa's room. Her aunt is watching the news on the small television mounted to the wall, a segment about corporate philanthropy, and the Han family's renewed commitment to medical access funding. "That family of yours is complicated," Rosa observes. That's an understatement. "But they care. In their own strange way, they're trying." She pats the bed beside her. "Min-jun called earlier. Said he has a surprise planned for when I'm discharged." "Any idea what it is?" "None. But knowing him, it's either very sweet or slightly ridiculous." "My money's on both," Rosa says with a grin. Rosa is discharged on a Tuesday afternoon, 3 weeks after surgery. The doctor's final instructions are simple. Rest, cardiac rehabilitation, gradual return to normal activities, no heavy lifting for 6 weeks, follow-up appointments every 2 weeks, standard post-surgical protocol. What's not standard is the car waiting outside the hospital entrance. It's not a limousine, thank God, but it's definitely not the subway either. A sleek sedan with tinted windows and a professional driver who bows when they approach. Rosa looks at Lorraine. Lorraine looks at Min-jun, who has the grace to appear sheepish. "I know what you're going to say." "Do you?" Lorraine interrupts. "But hear me out. Rosa just had major surgery. The subway involves stairs and crowds, and a 20-minute walk on the other end. This is safer, medically speaking." Rosa laughs. "He's got a point, Lori. Don't encourage him." But she gets in the car, because Rosa's comfort matters more than her pride. The interior smells like leather and expensive air freshener. There's bottled water in the cup holders, blankets folded on the seats. Min-jun helps Rosa settle, making sure she's comfortable before closing the door. The drive takes 15 minutes. They arrive not at Rosa's small apartment in Mapo, but at a building Lorraine doesn't recognize. Newer construction, quiet street, neighborhood that speaks of careful gentrification. Min-jun helps Rosa out of the car, then turns to Lorraine. Before you get angry, starting with that phrase never ends well for you. Let me explain. Rosa's apartment is a 4th-floor walk-up with no elevator. The stairs alone would be dangerous for the next few months. So I arranged for temporary housing. Ground floor, wheelchair accessible, close to a rehab center that specializes in cardiac recovery. He talks faster as her expression darkens. It's just until she's strong enough to handle the stairs. Then she can go home. I promise. Lorraine wants to be furious, wants to accuse him of overstepping, of using his money to control their lives. But she remembers Rosa struggling up those stairs on good days, breathing hard, joking about getting old. Post-surgery, those stairs would be impossible. How temporary, she asks. However long she needs. And the cost? Covered by the hospital's Recovery Assistance Program, which I donate to, yes, but it's available to all cardiac patients meeting specific criteria. Rosa qualifies. It's a careful answer. Technically true, probably manipulated, definitely expensive. But it's also thoughtful and necessary, and exactly what Rosa needs right now. Fine, Lorraine says, but we're talking about this later. The apartment is beautiful. Open floor plan, wide doorways, grab bars already installed in the bathroom. The furniture is comfortable without being ostentatious. There's a small garden visible through the back windows. Someone, probably Min-jun, has stocked the kitchen with groceries and left fresh flowers on the table. Rosa walks through slowly, taking it all in. When she turns back to them, her eyes are wet. "This is too much," she says. "It's exactly enough," Min-jun replies. "You took care of Lorraine when she needed you. Let us take care of you now." They spend the evening settling Rosa in. Lorraine unpacks her aunt's belongings, organizes medications, sets up the bedroom. Min-jun figures out the television remote and promises to come back tomorrow to explain it again because he knows Rosa will forget. By the time they leave, Rosa is settled on the couch with a cup of tea, looking more relaxed than she has in months. Outside, Lorraine turns to Min-jun. "Thank you. For all of this. You don't have to thank me." "Yes, I do. Because I know how hard you're trying to balance helping without controlling. And I appreciate it." He kisses her forehead. "Can I take you to dinner? Actual restaurant, not hospital cafeteria food? Is it going to be ridiculously expensive?" "Probably." "Then yes." They end up at a small Korean barbecue place in Itaewon, the kind with plastic chairs and checkered tablecloths and meat that sizzles on the grill between them. It's loud and crowded and perfect. They eat without talking much, just existing in each other's space, rediscovering the easy rhythm they had before secrets complicated everything. "I've been thinking," Min-jun says as they walk home afterward, fingers intertwined, "about what it means to be honest. Not just about the past, but about the present. About what I want. And what do you want? To use the resources I have in ways that matter. The shares, the trust fund, the connections, they exist whether I acknowledge them or not. Ignoring them doesn't make me more authentic. It just makes me a coward." He stops walking, turns to face her under a streetlight. "I want to create a fund. A real one. Transparent and accessible. For people facing medical debt they can't afford. No corporate PR, no strings attached. Just help for people who need it." Lorraine studies his face, sees the determination there. "This isn't about redemption or guilt. It's about purpose." "Tell me more," she says. They sit on a bench by the river. The same bench where Hee-jin found her. The same park where he proposed. And Min-jun talks about his vision. A foundation structured to support emergency medical interventions, funded by his passive income, managed by a board that includes healthcare workers and patient advocates. Not charity. Equity. I want to call it the Rosa Matthews Foundation, he says quietly. If you'll let me. Because she's the reason I finally understood that money is just a tool. What matters is how you use it. Lorraine's throat tightens. She'd love that, but only if you let her be on the board. Deal. They shake on it, sealing the promise. Around them, Seoul continues its endless motion. Traffic and lights and the river flowing dark under the bridges. But on this bench, they're building something new. Something honest. Establishing the foundation takes 3 months of legal paperwork, board formation, and bureaucratic navigation. Minjun hires lawyers, accountants, and advisors who specialize in nonprofit structures. Lorraine attends every meeting, asks pointed questions, makes sure the language prioritizes patience over public relations. Rosa, still recovering but increasingly energetic, joins via video call from her temporary apartment, offering perspective that grounds the entire operation. The initial endowment is substantial, enough to make Lorraine's hands shake when she sees the number. Minjun transfers it from his trust fund without hesitation, then sets up automatic contributions from his dividend income. The money that terrified him for so long becomes a tool for good. It feels right, he says one evening as they review the foundation bylaws. Like I'm finally doing what I should have done years ago. You're doing it now, Lorraine says. That's what matters. The board comes together slowly. Dr. Kang agrees to serve as medical advisor. Daiho joins as technology liaison, helping to build a digital application system that's accessible and transparent. They recruit a hospital social worker, a patient rights attorney, and 2 people who've personally faced medical bankruptcy. Rosa insists on including a representative from the janitorial staff. They see everything, she says. They know who needs help. The foundation structure is deliberately simple. Patients apply online or through hospital social workers. Applications are reviewed by a committee that includes both medical and financial experts, and decisions are made within 72 hours. No credit checks. No means testing beyond basic qualification. Just people helping people. They launch on a Friday morning with a press conference at the hospital. Minjun speaks, but this time Lorraine stands beside him, holding his hand, presenting a united front. Rosa sits in the front row, still recovering but refusing to miss the moment. The Rosa Matthews Foundation exists because my aunt-in-law needed help and we had the resources to provide it, Minjun says. But there are thousands of families facing the same crisis without access to those resources. Medical debt shouldn't be a death sentence. This foundation won't solve the systemic problems in healthcare funding, but it can help individuals survive while we fight for larger changes. The response is overwhelming. Within the first week, they received 200 applications. Within the first month, 1,000. The foundation approves 70% of requests, providing grants that range from surgical costs to prescription coverage to rehabilitation expenses. Every recipient receives a letter explaining that the funding comes with no strings, no repayment expectations, no obligations beyond taking care of themselves. Lorraine continues working at the hospital, but now she splits time between her finance role and foundation administration. It's exhausting and fulfilling in equal measure. She reviews applications during lunch breaks, processes approvals in the evenings, and attends board meetings every Friday afternoon. Minjun works beside her, handling the corporate logistics while she manages the human side. One evening, a woman approaches Lorraine in the hospital cafeteria. She's maybe 50, wearing scrubs, exhaustion etched into every line of her face. "Are you Lorraine Matthews?" she asks. "Yes. I'm Min Seo Park. The foundation approved my father's cancer treatment last month. He's responding well. The doctors are optimistic." Her voice breaks. "I don't know how to thank you. You saved his life." Lorraine's eyes sting. "You don't have to thank us. Just take care of him." "I will. I promise." Minseo squeezes her hand, then walks away, leaving Lorraine standing in the middle of the cafeteria with tears running down her face. Minjun finds her 10 minutes later, still crying into a napkin. "What happened?" he asks, concerned. "Nothing bad. Everything good." She shows him the interaction log on her phone. Min Seo's father's case, approved 3 weeks ago. Treatment underway. We're actually doing this. We're helping people. He pulls her into a hug, and they stand there in the hospital cafeteria, 2 people who found each other in chaos and built something meaningful from the wreckage. The foundation's 6-month anniversary falls on a rainy Tuesday in October. They've helped 300 families, distributed over 8 billion won, and partnered with 12 hospitals across Seoul. The press has been mostly positive, though there are still critics who question Minjun's motives or Lorraine's role, or whether private philanthropy is just a band-aid on a broken system. They're not wrong, Lorraine says that morning over coffee. We can't fix everything. No, Minjun agrees, but we can fix some things. That has to be enough. The press conference is scheduled for 2 p.m. They're announcing an expansion of the foundation's scope to include mental health coverage, a gap in Korea's healthcare system that leaves too many people suffering in silence. Rosa will speak, sharing her own experience with anxiety during her recovery and the importance of treating the whole person, not just the body. Lorraine is nervous. Public speaking has never been her strength, and despite 6 months of media attention, she's never quite gotten comfortable with cameras and microphones. But this is important. The expansion represents a commitment to comprehensive care, to acknowledging that healing involves more than just physical treatment. They arrive at the hospital early. The auditorium is already filling. Reporters, hospital staff, board members, representatives from other philanthropic organizations. Hae Jin sits in the 3rd row, offering an encouraging nod when Lorraine catches her eye. She's become an unexpected ally, using her corporate connections to advocate for the foundation and shield it from political interference. Rosa arrives with Daeho, looking elegant in a navy dress, moving with the confidence of someone who's reclaimed her health. She hugs Lorraine tightly. "You ready for this?" she whispers. "No, but I'll do it anyway. That's my girl." The conference starts on time. Minjun speaks first, outlining the foundation's achievements and introducing the mental health initiative. Then Lorraine takes the microphone, hands shaking slightly, but voice steady. 6 months ago, I was a hospital finance manager watching my aunt die because we couldn't afford the treatment she needed, she begins. I felt helpless and terrified and angry at a system that values money over lives. Today I'm standing here because someone with resources chose to help. But more importantly, I'm standing here because we decided that moment of crisis shouldn't be rare, that everyone deserves access to the care they need, regardless of their bank balance. She talks about the letters they receive, the stories of families saved and futures reclaimed. She talks about Min Seo's father, about a young mother with postpartum depression who finally got therapy, about an elderly man who received dialysis and lived to meet his first grandchild. She talks about the imperfect, incomplete, absolutely necessary work of helping one person at a time while fighting for systemic change. This foundation exists because love demanded action, she concludes. And we'll keep acting, keep fighting, keep showing up for people who need us, because that's what it means to be human. The applause is genuine and sustained. Lorraine steps back from the microphone, legs weak, relieved to have gotten through it without breaking down. Minjun squeezes her hand. Rosa beams from the wings. Then the questions start. Most are straightforward. Logistics about the mental health coverage, application processes, partnership opportunities. But then a reporter from a conservative outlet stands, expression sharp. "Mr. Han, some critics claim this foundation is an attempt to rehabilitate your family's image after years of labor disputes and tax controversies. How do you respond to accusations that this is performative philanthropy?" Minjun doesn't hesitate. "The Han family has made mistakes. We've prioritized profit over people, efficiency over ethics. I can't undo that history, and this foundation doesn't erase it. But what I can do is make different choices now. Use the resources I inherited to support the kind of healthcare system I believe everyone deserves. If that rehabilitates the family image, fine. But my primary concern is helping people, not managing perceptions." Another reporter jumps in. "Mrs. Han, You've been accused of marrying into wealth to escape your own financial problems. How do you respond? Lorraine feels Min-jun tense beside her. She steps forward calmly. I married Min-jun because I love him. My financial history is public record. I co-signed loans for an ex-partner who disappeared, destroyed my credit, and spent years rebuilding. I'm not ashamed of that. It taught me empathy for people facing impossible debt. And yes, marrying Min-jun gave me access to resources I never imagined. But those resources are meaningless without purpose. I could have taken the settlement his sister offered and disappeared. Instead, I chose to stay and build something that matters. Make of that what you will. The room is silent for a beat. Then another wave of applause, this one tinged with respect. The conference ends an hour later. As they leave the auditorium, Rosa links her arm through Lorraine's. You did good, baby, she says. Real good. I was terrified. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting despite it. Rosa smiles. You're braver than you think. Outside, the rain has stopped. Seoul gleams wet and clean under clearing skies. Lorraine breathes in the autumn air, feels something settle in her chest. They're not perfect. The foundation isn't perfect. But they're trying, honestly and transparently, to make things better. That has to be enough. Life finds a new rhythm over the following months. Lorraine continues her hospital job 3 days a week, dedicates the other 2 to foundation work. Min-jun has officially returned to a limited advisory role at Han Biomedical, not management, but consulting on projects that align with his values. It's a compromise that satisfies his need for purpose without sacrificing his autonomy. Rosa moves back to her apartment once her cardiologist clears her for stairs. She immediately joins a cardiac rehabilitation group and starts volunteering at a community center, teaching elderly immigrants about navigating Korea's healthcare system. I got help when I needed it, she says. Time to pass it on. Lorraine and Min-jun fall back into the routines that made them happy before the truth exploded their lives. Subway commutes and machine coffee and Sunday dinners with Rosa. But now there's transparency woven through everything. He tells her about board meetings and family obligations. She shares her frustrations about bureaucracy and systemic injustice. They fight sometimes. About money, about priorities, about whose turn it is to do dishes. Normal couple problems. One evening on the subway ride home, a young woman recognizes Lorraine. She's maybe 25, wearing a university hoodie, carrying textbooks. Excuse me, she says hesitantly. Are you Lorraine Matthews? From the foundation? Lorraine's first instinct is to say no, to preserve her anonymity. But she's done hiding. Yes, she says. The woman's face lights up. My little brother had leukemia. He needed a bone marrow transplant, but we couldn't afford the pre-treatment medications. The foundation covered it. He's in remission now, because of you. Lorraine's throat closes. I'm so glad he's okay. Thank you, really. You don't know what it means to have someone care when everything feels impossible. The woman gets off at the next stop, waving goodbye. Min-jun, who witnessed the entire exchange, leans his head on Lorraine's shoulder. That's why we do this, he says quietly. Yeah, she whispers. It is. They ride the rest of the way in comfortable silence, hands linked, watching Seoul pass by the windows. It's an ordinary moment. 2 people on a subway, tired from work, heading home to make dinner and argue about what to watch on television. But it's also extraordinary because they chose this. Chose honesty over comfort, purpose over safety, each other despite everything. When they reach their stop, Lorraine turns to Min-jun. I love you, the real you. All the complicated, messy, imperfect parts. He smiles, the soft, genuine smile that first made her fall for him. I love you too. All the stubborn, brilliant, relentless parts. They walk home through the evening streets, just another couple in a city of millions, building a life that matters. A year after the foundation's launch, Lorraine sits in their apartment reviewing the annual report. The numbers are staggering. 700 families helped, 15 billion won distributed, partnerships with 23 hospitals. They've added dental coverage, physical therapy support, and an emergency fund for families whose breadwinners are hospitalized long-term. But there's a problem. The foundation is running through funds faster than Minjun's dividend income can replenish. The demand is overwhelming, applications pouring in faster than they can process them. At the current rate, they'll exhaust the endowment within 18 months. We need to fundraise, Lorraine says that evening. Open it up beyond your personal contributions. Get corporate sponsors, individual donors, government grants. Minjun frowns. That means giving up control, answering to donors about how we spend. It also means helping more people. We can't do this alone. He knows she's right. They schedule an emergency board meeting, present the financial reality. The debate is heated. Some members worry about maintaining the foundation's independence. Others argue that impact matters more than autonomy. Rosa, as usual, cuts through the noise. We started this to help people, she says. If we can help more people by accepting outside funding, we do it. Pride is expensive. I should know. The vote is unanimous. They begin the process of expanding the foundation's funding model, which means grant applications, donor cultivation, and public fundraising campaigns. It's exhausting and humbling and necessary work. Hyejin becomes their unexpected champion. She leverages her corporate connections to secure matching grants from other chaebol families, framing it as a moral imperative for Korea's business elite. You have the resources, she tells them at a private dinner. Use them, or admit you value wealth over lives. The approach is blunt, even harsh, but it works. Within 6 months, the foundation has secured enough funding to triple its capacity. More families helped, more hospitals partnered, more lives saved. Lorraine watches the numbers change on the spreadsheet, each zero representing someone's future, and feels the weight of responsibility. This is bigger than her now, bigger than Minjun. It's a movement, a commitment, a promise that keeps expanding. Are you okay? Minjun asks one night as she stares at the laptop, surrounded by grant applications. I'm thinking about Marcus, she says. About how he used my trust to fund his dreams and left me with nothing. And I'm thinking about how you used your resources to save Rosa and build something that helps people. Same tool, money, completely different intentions. Money is neutral. It's the person wielding it that matters. I know. But I'm still learning to trust that, to believe that wealth doesn't automatically corrupt. He closes the laptop gently. You taught me that truth matters more than comfort. Let me teach you that resources matter less than character. We're good people trying to do good things. The money is just the method. She leans into him, letting his certainty steady her. Outside, Seoul hums with its endless energy. Inside, they're building something that will outlast them both. On their 3rd wedding anniversary, Minjun takes Lorraine back to the coffee shop where they met. It's unchanged. Same worn furniture, same machine that makes burnt coffee, same barista who barely looks up when they order. They sit in the corner booth, the spot where he spilled chai all over her laptop, and apologized with such earnest sincerity that she couldn't stay angry. I was so nervous that day, he says. You were beautiful and furious, and I couldn't think of anything except how much I wanted to know you. You ruined my laptop. I bought you a new one. Eventually. After you asked for my number and pretended you needed 3 follow-up coffee dates to transfer the files. He grins. Worked, didn't it? Yeah, she says softly. It did. He reaches across the table, takes her hands. I have a proposal, again. We're already married. I know, but the first time, you married someone who wasn't being fully honest. I want to do it again, properly, with you knowing exactly who I am. Han Minjun, former CEO, current foundation director, stubborn idealist, machine coffee enthusiast, man who loves you more than anything. His voice wavers. Will you marry me? Again? Lorraine's eyes sting. You're ridiculous. Is that a yes? That's a yes, you ridiculous man. They plan a small ceremony for the following month. Just family and close friends, held at the hospital where everything changed. Rosa officiates. She got ordained online specifically for this occasion. Hyejin attends with genuine warmth, bringing a gift of matching wedding bands engraved with the foundation's logo. Daeho serves as best man, making a speech that's equal parts heartfelt and embarrassing. When it's time for vows, Minjun goes first. Lorraine, you saw me when I was trying to be invisible. You loved me when I didn't deserve it. You challenged me to be better, braver, more honest. Everything good in my life started the day I ruined your laptop. I promise to keep bringing you terrible coffee, to fight for the things we believe in, and to never hide who I am again. I love you. All of me loves all of you. Lorraine's turn. She wipes her eyes, takes a breath. Minjun, you're the most infuriating, generous, complex person I've ever met. You hid a fortune but couldn't hide your heart. And your heart is what I fell in love with. The part that makes machine coffee an act of devotion, that walks old ladies across streets, that cries during hospital charity drives. I promise to trust you, to build with you, and to keep you humble when your family tries to pull you back into corporate nonsense. I love you, completely. They exchange rings, kiss to applause, start their marriage again, this time built on truth. At the reception, held in the hospital cafeteria, naturally, Rosa gives a toast. Love is complicated, she says. It requires forgiveness and growth, and the courage to see each other clearly. These two have done the work. They've earned their happiness. May they keep earning it every single day. Later, as they're leaving, Lorraine spots the discharge invoice from a year ago, now framed and hanging in the foundation office. The balance marked 0, Surhan's signature at the bottom, the beginning of everything. We should burn that, she says. It's embarrassing. It's honest, Minjun counters. Proof that we survived the worst and chose each other anyway. She can't argue with that. 2 years after the foundation's launch, they're profiled in a major Korean newspaper. The article is titled, From Secret Marriage to Public Service, How the Hans Built a Healthcare Empire on Love. It's embarrassing and largely accurate. They frame copies for Rosa, who hangs hers in the community center where she volunteers. The foundation has grown beyond anything they imagined. 1,600 families helped. 35 billion won distributed. Partnerships with 40 hospitals across 3 cities. They've inspired other wealthy families to start similar initiatives. Not all successful, but the attempt matters. But success brings scrutiny. A government audit questions some of their approval processes. A rival organization accuses them of favoritism. The press digs into every decision, looking for corruption or incompetence. Minjun and Lorraine weather it together, providing documentation, adjusting policies, learning from mistakes. This is what accountability looks like, Lorraine tells the board during a particularly brutal review session. We wanted transparency. This is the cost. They survive the audit. The processes are tightened, the oversight increased, the foundation stronger for having been tested. Through it all, their marriage holds. Not perfectly. They fight about workload and boundaries, and whose family is more exhausting this week. But they fight fairly, and they always come back to each other. Minjun officially renounces any future claim to leadership of Han Biomedical. It's a public declaration, legally binding, closing that chapter of his life permanently. Hyejin takes over as acting chair, modernizing the company's labor practices and environmental policies. The empire survives the transition. Minjun doesn't mourn its loss. One evening, Lorraine comes home to find him in the kitchen, making dinner, humming off key to the radio. He's wearing the frayed gray hoodie, the one he refuses to throw away despite her protests. He looks happy, settled, himself. Good day? She asks. Great day. We approved a grant for a 12-year-old with cystic fibrosis. She wants to be a doctor when she grows up. She will be, Lorraine says confidently. Yeah, he agrees. She will. They eat dinner at their small table, talking about nothing important. Groceries to buy, plans for the weekend, whether they should finally replace the broken bathroom tile. Ordinary life. The life he chose. The life they built together. That night, lying in bed, Lorraine thinks about the hospital bill that started everything. The impossible zeros. The signature that changed her life. She thinks about secrets and trust, and the messy process of knowing someone completely. "I'm glad you ruined my laptop," she whispers. Min-jun, half asleep, mumbles, "Best mistake I ever made." She smiles in the darkness. "Second best. First best was telling me the truth. That one was harder." "I know, but worth it." "Yeah," he says, pulling her closer. "Definitely worth it." 3 years in, the Rosa Matthews Foundation celebrates a milestone. 5,000 families helped. The number is staggering, each digit representing real people. Children who survived cancer, parents who kept their homes, elderly grandparents who received dignity in their final years. It's not enough. It will never be enough. But it's something. They hold the celebration at the same hospital where Rosa's surgery happened, coming full circle. Dr. Kang speaks. Rosa speaks. Several recipients speak. Lorraine and Min-jun stand at the back, watching others take credit for work they all did together. "This is better than I imagined," Min-jun whispers. "What is?" "Mattering. Actually making a difference. It's better than any boardroom victory I ever had." Lorraine squeezes his hand. "You're learning." Slowly, but yes. A young girl approaches them after the ceremony. She's maybe 8, wearing a sundress, hair growing back after chemotherapy. She holds out a drawing, crayon figures of a man and woman standing in front of a building shaped like a heart. "Thank you for helping my mom," she says shyly. "The doctors fixed her because of you." Min-jun kneels to her level. "You're welcome. Is your mom here?" The girl points to a woman across the room, laughing with friends, looking healthy and whole. "That's her. She's okay now." "I'm glad," Min-jun says seriously. "Take good care of her." "I will." The girl hands him the drawing and runs off. Lorraine watches him study the picture, sees the emotion flickering across his face. This is what wealth means now. Not power or control, but the ability to create moments like this. To turn resources into hope. On the ride home, they're both quiet, processing the day. Finally, Min-jun speaks. "I want to do more. The foundation is incredible, but it's reactive. We help people after crisis hits. I want to prevent the crises." "How?" "Policy advocacy. Lobbying for universal health care coverage, better insurance regulation, medical debt forgiveness programs. Use the foundation's platform and my family name for systemic change, not just individual relief." Lorraine considers this. It's ambitious, politically fraught, likely to make enemies. It's also necessary. "Let's do it," she says. They spend the next year building relationships with legislators, testifying at hearings, funding research on healthcare economics. Min-jun uses every corporate connection he has, calling in favors, applying pressure, making the case that universal coverage is both moral imperative and economic common sense. Lorraine organizes grassroots campaigns, mobilizing recipients to share their stories publicly. Progress is slow. Bills die in committee. Politicians prioritize corporate donors over constituents. But small victories accumulate. A pilot debt forgiveness program in 2 provinces, expanded mental health coverage for low-income families, new regulations preventing hospitals from immediate collections. "We're moving the needle," Daeho says during a board meeting. "Not as fast as we'd like, but it's moving." "Then we keep pushing," Rosa says firmly. "My granddaughter shouldn't face the same crisis I did. Neither should anyone else's." The work is exhausting. But it's also meaningful in ways neither Lorraine nor Min-jun fully understood when they started. They're not just helping individuals. They're changing the system that created the need for help in the first place. 5 years after the foundation's launch, Lorraine is offered a position as the hospital's Director of Patient Financial Services. It's a significant promotion. More money, more authority. the power to shape institutional policy. She accepts with one condition. Half her time must be dedicated to foundation work. The hospital agrees. Her first act as director is implementing a hardship review process that mirrors the foundation's approach. Fast approvals, minimal bureaucracy, focus on need rather than creditworthiness. The CFO, Choi Sung-woo, is initially resistant. This will impact our revenue projections, he argues. Good, Lorraine says, because our revenue shouldn't depend on bankrupting desperate families. The policy passes. Within 6 months, the hospital's patient satisfaction scores rise significantly. Press coverage is overwhelmingly positive. Other hospitals begin implementing similar programs. Change spreads, slowly but surely. Min-jun watches her thrive in the new role, proud and slightly awed. "You're terrifying when you have power," he says one evening. "I learned from the best," she replies, kissing him. "Your sister taught me that authority means nothing without purpose." Hae-jin has indeed become a mentor, inviting Lorraine to speak at corporate conferences, introducing her to philanthropic networks, teaching her how to navigate Korea's elite circles without compromising her values. Their relationship has evolved from mutual suspicion to genuine respect. At one such conference, a young Chaebol heir approaches Lorraine during the reception. "I'm starting my own foundation," he says. "Similar model. Can I ask you some questions?" She spends an hour explaining their structure, their mistakes, their hard-won wisdom. Passes along contact information for lawyers and advisors. Encourages him to center patient voices rather than donor egos. "You're building a movement," Min-jun observes afterward. "We're building a movement," she corrects. "Together." That night, back in their apartment, larger now, but still modest compared to what Min-jun could afford, they sit on the couch reviewing the foundation's 5-year strategic plan. Expansion into rural areas, partnerships with international organizations, scholarship programs for medical students committed to underserved communities. "We're going to need more funding," Lorraine says. "I'll talk to my father." She looks up, surprised. "You've barely spoken to him in years." "I know. But he's been following the foundation's work. Hyejin says he's proud. In his way." Min-jun sets down the papers. Maybe it's time to stop punishing him for who he was and acknowledge who he's trying to become. It's a generous stance, one that speaks to Min-jun's growth. Lorraine takes his hand. "Then let's go together," she says. The meeting with Chairman Han happens 3 weeks later. It's formal, awkward, weighted with years of unspoken hurt. But the chairman listens as Min-jun explains the foundation's mission and future plans. Asks thoughtful questions, eventually nods. "I'll establish a matching grant," he says. "For every one you raise independently, Han Corporation will match it. Up to 50 billion over 5 years. Min-jun is speechless. Lorraine isn't. "With no strings attached?" she asks. "No naming rights? No corporate branding? No editorial control?" The chairman almost smiles. "My daughter-in-law negotiates like a Chaebol herself. Yes, no strings." They accept. Leave the meeting with a partnership that will transform the foundation's capacity. In the car afterward, Min-jun is quiet. "You okay?" Lorraine asks. "He called you his daughter-in-law." "I noticed. He's never acknowledged our marriage before. Pretended it didn't exist." Min-jun's voice is thick. That was his way of saying he accepts this, accepts us. Lorraine leans her head on his shoulder. "Progress is slow, but it happens." "Yeah," he whispers. "It does." The foundation's 10th anniversary arrives with less fanfare than previous milestones. They're too busy working to celebrate extensively. 10,000 families helped, 60 billion won distributed, partnerships across the country. The numbers are impressive, but Lorraine and Min-jun both know they represent the surface of a much deeper problem. "Healthcare shouldn't require philanthropy," Lorraine says during a donor dinner. "The fact that we exist proves the system is broken. Our goal is to make ourselves obsolete." It's an unusual pitch, but it resonates. More donors join. More families are helped. The movement grows. Rosa, now 70 and stubborn as ever, still serves on the board. She's the foundation's moral compass, the voice that always redirects focus back to people rather than processes. "My niece saved me," she says during a television interview. "Not just with money, but with love. That's what this foundation does. It says you matter. Your life has value. We'll fight for you. That's revolutionary." The interview goes viral. Applications surge. So do donations. The foundation's model is replicated internationally. Similar organizations start in Japan, Taiwan, Singapore. Lorraine spends months consulting with their leadership teams, sharing hard-won wisdom. "You're famous now," Minjun teases. "I'm tolerated," she corrects. "There's a difference." But she's being modest. She's become a leading voice on healthcare equity, testifying before Parliament, writing op-eds, challenging power structures with facts and moral clarity. The girl who once worried about subway fare now shapes national policy. Minjun couldn't be prouder. On their 10th anniversary, both of the foundation and their renewed wedding vows, they take a rare vacation. Just the two of them, a small island off the southern coast, no phones or emails or urgent meetings. They spend a week reading, swimming, talking about everything except work. On their last evening, watching the sunset from the beach, Minjun asks, "Do you ever regret it? Marrying me? All the complications that came with it?" Lorraine doesn't hesitate. "Never. Not once. You gave me purpose and partnership and a love I didn't think existed. The complications made us stronger. Even when I lied? Even then. Because you chose truth eventually. That's what matters." He kisses her, soft and lingering, tasting like sea salt and sunlight. They sit there as night falls. Two people who found each other in a coffee shop and built an empire of compassion from the ashes of secrets. "I love you," he says. "I know," she replies. "And I love you. Always." They return to Seoul ready for another decade of fighting, building, helping. The work never ends. But neither does their commitment. Closing. The Machine Coffee Promise. 15 years after the hospital bill that exposed everything, Lorraine stands at a podium accepting a humanitarian award she doesn't quite believe she deserves. Minjun sits in the front row beside Rosa, who's 82 and still sharp as broken glass. The auditorium is full of people whose lives were touched by the foundation. Recipients, donors, partners, advocates. Her speech is short. "I married a man who brought me machine coffee and hid a fortune. I was angry when I learned the truth. But that anger became fuel for change. We took resources that could have stayed hidden and turned them into tools for justice. Not perfectly. We've made mistakes, faced criticism, struggled with doubt. But we kept going because the alternative, doing nothing, was unacceptable." She looks at Minjun. "Sometimes love means forgiveness. Sometimes it means accountability. Always, it means showing up even when it's hard. Thank you for showing up with me." The applause is overwhelming, but the moment Lorraine treasures happens afterward, in the parking garage, when Minjun hands her a paper cup of machine coffee. "Still terrible," he says. "Still perfect," she replies. They drive home through familiar streets, past the hospital where Rosa was saved, past the coffee shop where they met, past the park where promises were made and broken and made again. Seoul glows around them, endless and alive. At home, Lorraine finds the framed invoice from 15 years ago, the signature that started everything. M. Han, the name that terrified them both for different reasons. Now it represents something else: transparency, growth, the courage to be seen completely. She thinks about the zeros on that bill, how they seemed impossible until they weren't, how crisis became catalyst, and fear became purpose, and secrets became the foundation of trust. The doorbell rings. Daeho and his family, here for dinner. Then Hye-jin arrives with her partner. Rosa shows up with a dish from the community center. The apartment fills with noise and laughter and the beautiful chaos of chosen family. Minjun pulls Lorraine aside as the others settle around the table. "Happy?" he asks. She surveys the room. Rosa telling stories, Daeho's kids running around, Heejin actually smiling. Their family, built not from blood or obligation, but from choice and commitment and relentless, stubborn love. "Incredibly," she says. They rejoin the table, share food and stories and the comfortable rhythm of people who've weathered storms together. Outside, Seoul continues its endless motion. Inside, their home. The hospital bill that exposed a billionaire CEO led to a foundation that changed thousands of lives. But more than that, it led to a marriage built on truth, to a family bound by choice, to a love that survived secrets and emerged stronger. Sometimes the worst moments break us. Sometimes they remake us into something better than we imagined possible. Lorraine and Minjun chose better, and they'll keep choosing it, one machine coffee at a time, for the rest of their lives.